things off on number 10, Donatella Versace. Famous designer Donatella Versace has endured her fair share of criticisms in the past, mostly pertaining to her look. Donatella's appearance has definitely evolved over time, but I mean, she's the head of a designer Versace company. I think she remains unfazed by what people have to say about her appearance. I mean, she's got money, she doesn't care. She's been criticized for her heavy plastic surgery and Botox, and people have even made comparison diagrams of her looks back in '97 when she took over the Versace company after the death of her brother, to now at the age of 65. People are saying that because of the Botox and fillers she's received over the years, her skin's elasticity is broken, and this leads her to looking older, so she wants to keep getting Botox and that cycle continues. I have to admit that yes, her skin is looking damaged because of the work she's had done, but like I said, she's the head of one of the biggest designer brands in the world, so her appearance really doesn't matter. At number 9, Prince Philip. Let's talk about my Uncle Phil. He's not really my uncle, but my dad used to try and convince me and my family that we related to the Queen because we're British and that she's my aunt. I love my Aunt Eliza. Anyway, Phil. My man is 99 years old and still kicking. I applaud this man for his resilience, but also he's not looking too great. I'm not trying to shade the man, but come on. There have been a number of fake news articles saying that Phil is dead, and I can't really say I'm surprised. I don't know if there's something going on with his health or something, but the man's not looking too good. He had been working and doing his royal duties until the age of 96. 96! And he only just came out of retirement to return to his royal duties for a brief period of time this year to observe the commemorative anniversary of victory over Japan Day, because he was on active duty the day that Japan surrendered 75 years ago. The fact that this nearly 100-year-old man came out of retirement to participate in this occasion is astonishing. I really hope that Phil hangs on a few more years, because it would really be nice to see him enjoy his retirement for a little while longer. Love you, Uncle Phil. And at 8, Nicolas Cage. There are some people who think that Nick Cage is a vampire because he doesn't age. I'm not kidding. This is a real speculation, but I'm not here to talk about the idea that he hasn't aged. I'm here to talk about how much he has. And not just himself, but his career. Nicolas Cage has had a pretty successful career. From National Treasure to Ghost Rider to Moonstruck, one of my personal favorites, Nick Cage has seen the rise of his career. But as all things must do, things fall. Nicolas Cage hasn't been featured in many big budget films recently. Though he's still a household name, things just aren't what they used to be since he's gotten older. The film industry is notorious for dropping their stars when they get too old, and that kinda sucks, cause I feel like a good old Nick Cage movie is just what we need to get us through these challenging times. But unfortunately, things just aren't the same for Mr. Cage. He's even racked up some pretty hefty debts, and since he's not getting the work that he once was, he can't pay it off. Even his net worth has gone down significantly compared to what it used to be in his prime. Nick here is looking pretty good for his age, but Hollywood doesn't think so, and that's just too bad. At least we're getting a Nicolas Cage meta-drama soon, cause that'll be great. At number 7, Britney Spears. Britney Spears isn't what she used to be. Though she rose to fame for being that innocent baby-voiced pop star, she has definitely changed since then. It isn't just her appearance that has changed over the years. First of all, her voice has changed. I know that she still sings in that same high-pitched voice, but she struggles to maintain that since it's not her real voice. If you've heard what she really sounds like, it's completely different. Her vocal cords have deteriorated over time and is now known for lip syncing since her voice is basically destroyed. On top of that, her reputation has also aged quite a bit. First she was the bubbly pop star that everyone loved, then she was the crazy pop star who shaved her head, and now she's the trapped pop star who doesn't even own her own life. Yeah, sure, she's aged herself, like she's getting older, but she still looks great. But her career has aged horribly since it's completely different from what it used to be, even though she and her management are trying to salvage whatever's left of her image. At 6, Jim Carrey. I'm including Jim in this list because I'm a little bamboozled by him. First, let's discuss his physical age. In 2017, when he was 55, he was out here looking like this. He looked quite aged, gray hair and beard included. He honestly didn't look 55 at all. He was looking at least 10 years older. Now fast forward to 2019 when he hits the red carpet looking like this. What? My guy went back in time. It's such a drastic change. Just by cleaning himself up a bit and dyeing his hair, he looked 10 years younger than he did in 2017. Crazy. But that's not the only thing that has changed drastically. His career has also changed. Though his career in the 90s and early 2000s was stacked with hits like The Mask, Ace Ventura, and The Grinch, Again, personal favorite. In later years, it hasn't been the same. According to Rotten Tomatoes, his 2018 film Dark Crimes has a pretty rotten rating and was not at all well received by critics. Also, he was in the Sonic movie, so need I say more. Jim has aged quite a bit, not as bad as some, but still quite drastically. Halfway through at number 5, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan has had quite a tumultuous career so far, going from being a beloved child star to being somewhat of a has-been with some public stunts and scandals here and there. Lindsay has aged herself quite a bit. Lindsay is only in her 30s, so she's still really young, but throughout her years of alcohol and drug abuse, this has done some damage to her physical appearance over the years. Lindsay has had her time in rehab for her addiction and overall wellness. So that stress and less than healthy habits seem to have taken its toll. Not to mention, her reputation has also aged ungracefully as well. She had a lot of success in her early career, but there came a point where her public stunts and unhealthy lifestyle got the best of her. She seems to be doing okay now and is coming to grips with the life that she has. In at 4, Carrot Top. For anyone who knows who Carrot Top is, you know he's a very eccentric guy. The stand-up comedian is now 55 years old, but is honestly looking a little odd. I mean, in true Carrot Top fashion, I guess it works for him, but for a lot of online critics, he's looking a little worse for wear. I hadn't seen a picture of him in so long, so when I was researching this list, I was almost shocked at how different he looked now. Though people have claimed that he's had some bad work done to him, Carrot Top denies everything and says that's just the way he's built. We don't know if the plastic surgery speculation is true at all, but either way, Carrot Top is out here looking unique as a middle-aged man. It's nice to see that even though he's aged, he's still staying true to his signature look, even if people aren't too stoked about it. Coming in at number 3, Ozzy Osbourne. The famed Black Sabbath member is far past his prime. Though he was a hit musician in the 70s, he was fired from the group in 1979 due to his heavy substance abuse. His drug and alcohol usage was probably the reason why he's aged so poorly. His substance problem is so well documented that there's a pretty lengthy section about it on his wiki page. Like, it's pretty long. It is said that he was once so heavily intoxicated that he forgot an entire year of his life. He was so drunk that he fired his band just to not remember doing that, and the next day carrying on as if nothing happened. Obviously, this kind of heavy substance usage does some serious damage to your health. Ozzy is only 71, which is still pretty young, but his skin looks dull and wrinkled from his long history of substance experimentation. He's talented, I'll give him that, but his past has definitely come back to haunt him and his well-being. I know that he suffers from Parkinson's syndrome, and that has already affected his body and overall health, but I'm sure his substance abuse from the past has also made a big impact as well. At number 2, Pamela Anderson. In nearly every article about celebrities who've aged poorly, you're bound to see Pamela Anderson's name pop up. Honestly, I don't know why. To me, she looks fine. I've seen worse. I mean, look at Phil. Need I say more? At only 53 years old, people are criticizing how she's aging and criticizing her use of Botox and plastic surgery to stay youthful. I've seen people saying that her past lifestyle of living on the edge has cost her her beauty and now she's paying for it by getting work done to look good. Or that her Botox and plastic surgery makes her look worse than before, but again, I'm not really seeing a problem here. I don't really see a problem with anyone on this list. Again, except for Phil. No offense, but come on, you see it too, right? Pam has also said that she enjoys aging, so I mean, the criticisms don't really have much effect on her anyway. So yeah, she's on this list for aging horribly, but that's just what the internet has said. I'm just here defending her. And finally, at number 1, Macaulay Culkin. In our top spot we have Macaulay Culkin. Now I know I just came in hot with the last person saying how none of these people on this list have aged too badly, but I have to make an exception with Macaulay here. First, he's on every list about bad aging. But also, I mean, he doesn't look remotely the same as he did in his early career. He went from looking like this cute little kid to a very rundown guy. He's had his grievances with being a child star, and obviously that caused a lot of pressure for him. Combined with his documented substance abuse, this bad combination created the Macaulay we have today. He's been in and out of the spotlight since coming out of his childhood acting days and seems to live a low-key life with former Disney star girlfriend Brenda Song. Macaulay is now 40, but he's looking at least 10 years older than he is. He has truly aged horribly, and he's not even that old. Starting us off at number 10, Cameron Diaz. Actress Cameron Diaz had a pretty successful career early on. Her breakout role was in the 1994 film The Mask starring Jim Carrey. She then went on to star in other acclaimed films like My Best Friend's Wedding, Shrek, and Charlie's Angels. Cameron experimented with a lot of different kinds of roles she played, from romantic comedies to dramas to action films. Cameron booked a lot of different roles in the beginning, but things certainly aren't that way anymore. There are a few reasons as to why people think that her career just hasn't aged well and why she stopped working. One reason is that people think that she was actually too successful in her early days and burnt out later down the road. Others think that it was because of her sudden decision to stick to her comfort zone when it comes to roles that broke her, since she used to hop between genres and was a fresh face for many types of films. Over the years, Cameron stuck to comedies and rom-coms, so she became tiresome on camera. Others think that it was the Shrek franchise that really did it in for her. Though the Shrek franchise is just chef's kiss level entertainment, with its spin-off holiday films and musicals. Yes, there was a musical, I was in it in high school, absolutely legendary. Critics believe that because Shrek stuck around for so long, it was hard for Cameron to crawl out of its shadow, and her career was never really able to recover from being Princess Fiona. I mean, if my career ended with Shrek, I think I'd be okay with it. In at number 9, Brad Pitt. Now, this aging might be considered a stretch, but it still counts, so I'm going with it. Sometimes in film and TV, makeup artists and the CGI editors have to make an actor or character look much older than they really are. Sometimes it's a cool transition, and other times the actor ends up looking a little worse for wear in their simulated old age. This is sort of the case with Brad Pitt from The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. In the film about a man who ages backwards, the production team had the task of aging Brad Pitt to make himself older and younger than he really was. Though the production and editing of Brad's older form was very well done and convincing, his actual older looks were questionable. Again, not because the production was bad, just because it made Brad look nearly unrecognizable. At his oldest, Benjamin's character looked sort of like a hairless cat. He was wrinkled and mostly bald and very thin. It's hard to think that a 43-year-old man was under all those special effects. It wasn't his best look, but it was one of his best roles. At number 8, Alicia Silverstone. Alicia Silverstone, known for her lead role in the 1995 film Clueless, began her film career in the mid-90s and continued making hit films for the rest of the decade into the early 2000s. Though her career started off with a bang and she was quickly brought into stardom, her fame didn't really last long, as over the years she's fallen into obscurity. Her first major fumble was from her role as Batgirl in the 1997 film Batman and Robin. She even won a Razzie Award for Worst Supporting Actress. I mean, that's not a good award. Why do they have awards for worst? That's just rubbing it in. Like, you tried your best, that's not nice. She's been in other productions, but she never quite hit as hard as she did in her early career. Though I don't think this really bothers her much, as she's revealed that she never wanted to be a movie star in the first place, if you can believe it. Alicia said that she was more of a theater nerd and never wanted the level of stardom that she found in her early years. It seems that as the years went on and the hype of her role in Clueless died down, Alicia shied away from the spotlight, resurfacing a few times, but mostly keeping to herself and her personal passions and projects. Coming in at 7, Hayley Atwell. Here's another instance of a celebrity whose on-screen aging didn't do them any favors. Hayley Atwell in her role as Peggy Carter in Captain America: Winter Soldier. In the film, we see Peggy Carter in her late 90s in her hospital bed suffering from Alzheimer's. As she was in her late 90s, obviously her physical appearance looked quite dated. She had silver hair, wrinkles, and age spots on her face and hands, another sign of old age. In the scene where we see Peggy and Steve Rogers interacting, the special effects have the actress looking nothing like her true self and was aged far beyond her years. I mean, for 90 plus, her character was looking well, but she still aged rather badly in regards to her health. As she had Alzheimer's, you could see how Peggy began to fade away as the degenerative disease took hold of her, and as she aged, it got worse. In at 6, Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire's career was at its peak in the 2000s, but suddenly it imploded, leaving him with a bad rep in Hollywood and a less than ideal career. Tobey was made famous for his role as Spider-Man in the Sam Raimi trilogy. At the height of his career, Tobey was bringing the role of Peter Parker to life, making millions, and landing himself among Hollywood's A-list stars. But coming into 2007 and the third Spider-Man film in the series, things began to turn sour for the actor. Firstly, he began demanding more money from the studio. People believed that as he found more fame, his ego got larger as well, and he became more greedy and self-absorbed. Now, even though he was demanding more money, he was doing less work as he struggled with an injury on set, which prompted the need for doctors to be with Toby at all times while filming. There was only so much that Toby was able to do, even to the point where his doctors had to map out exactly how many steps Toby was able to take in a scene. So this extravagant cost to pay both Toby and his doctors added to the rest of the film's budget and added to its failure as it tanked at the box office when it was released. Obviously, this didn't help Toby's career, and this combined with his gambling problem and bad attitude towards others, this landed him the name Bully Maguire and ultimately shunned from Hollywood. His career aged poorly with the evolution of his on-screen character as well as his off-screen persona. Halfway through at number 5, Keith Richards. I've seen a lot of sources say that Keith Richards has aged horribly. Some say that it was his rock and roll lifestyle that did it in for him and his looks, and others say that he just lost out in the gene department and that he just wasn't destined to age gracefully. I'm on the fence here. I honestly don't think he looks that bad. I mean, he could definitely look worse. If you watched part 1 of this video, then you remember how I talked about Prince Philip and how he's looking nowadays. It could always be worse. Now, Keith Richards, is he the most graceful ager? No, probably because of his drug usage in his younger rock and roll days. But has he stopped that kind of lifestyle? Yes, and I think he's gonna be fine. Right now he's 76 years old and he's still looking relatively young, so I think he's on the right track. I'd say he's about a 5 on the poor aging scale. Coming in at number 4, Mickey Rourke. Following Keith Richards, we have Mickey Rourke, and although I said that Keith was fine and things could be worse, I'm gonna have to bring this up as one of the worst cases with Mickey here. I wish I could say, oh Mickey, you're so fine, but I can't. He's had a lot of work done over the years to the point that he doesn't even look like himself anymore. At 68 years old, he's looking a little rough, not because he's an old wrinkled mess, but because he tried a little too hard to correct his aging with plastic surgery, and things went wrong. In his early career, he was praised for his baby face and boyish charm, but now, not so much. I think that the lesson we learn from celebrities like this is that sometimes it's just best to let the aging process happen. I mean, you wouldn't stop a fine wine or cheese from aging, would you? No, no way. Just let it happen, babes. It's a beautiful thing. At number 3, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson has had a tumultuous career to say the least. Mel fell from grace and he fell hard. His career has aged worse than anyone else on this list by a landslide. Not only has he had abuse and assault allegations against him, but he also has a history of anti-Semitism and racial aggressions. His career took a turn for the worse after years of buildup of his poor actions, but after the release of his religious film The Passions of the Christ, he was basically shut out of Hollywood for the remainder of his career. His film was criticized for its violence and anti-Semitic ideals. Because of his negative view by Hollywood executives, he struggled to book individual roles, and this has driven his career into the dirt. The only thing that really seems to be keeping his career intact is his directing. He's directed The Passions of the Christ, obviously, as well as Hacksaw Ridge, and now the sequel to the Passions film. So although he started off strong in the film industry, over time he's gone from hero to zero, and I don't think we will ever see a comeback. Coming in at number 2, Michael J. Fox. I'm including this one because he looked questionable at best. So in another iteration of celebrities who were aged for a role, we have Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future Part 2. In this film, we see Michael's character, Marty McFly, as a 47-year-old man in the year 2015. Now we're not going to talk about the fact that this movie made some wild predictions about how the year 2015 was going to look, because that is a whole other video. We're going to talk about how the makeup department did Michael so dirty when they aged him up. Obviously, McFly's aging was the result of makeup and not special effects, because you can kinda see it in his face, but still, they made the guy look a little funky and not in a good way. They added prosthetics to his forehead and cheeks to give him more defined wrinkles and jowls, and they also receded his hairline, added grayed hairs, and made his eyebrows look the complete opposite of fleeky. Fox, who is now 59 years old in real life, looks much better and even much younger than his 47-year-old self in the film. I hope that back then when they were filming and they got him into his old man getup, that Michael didn't think that he'd actually look like this in the future, because that is so not true. Finally, in at number 1, Michael Jackson. I'm sure we are all familiar with Michael Jackson's appearance later in his life. He went from being a good-looking guy with a thick afro to being a thin, pale man with thinning hair and skin. Most of the changes in his appearance were due to his health. His change in complexion was due to his vitiligo, and his thinning hair was due to age as well as chemical relaxing. He also got a lot of plastic surgery done, which didn't really aid in his appearance. The constant alterations done to his face in particular caused his skin to thin and wrinkle, which just added to the cycle of his work. And his infamous nose job changed the proportions of his face, which really made him look even bonier with his thin pointed nose. He kinda looked like the other mother from Coraline. If you know what I'm talking about, you get it. Over the years, Michael's appearance worsened with age as he tried to correct what time had caused, but really it just worsened its outcomes. The only thing that didn't age poorly about Michael was his musical abilities. Though his appearance and health deteriorated over the years, his talent stayed legendary.
Starting us off at number 10 is John Cena and Jason Earls. If you've ever seen a Hannah Montana episode, then you probably never thought anything about Jason Earls' age when he played Miley Cyrus's brother. Fans later realized that when the show started, he was actually 29 years old when playing his 16-year-old character, which is shocking because he actually looks like a teenager and still does. When comparing him next to actor John Cena, who is the same age as him, it's very hard to believe that this is actually true. They are both the same age, 43 years old, and coincidentally enough, they actually did a scene together on Hannah Montana back in the day. It's actually really weird for me who watched the show to think that during this scene, they were the same age, but Jason was playing a teenager. Honestly, I had a harder time processing the fact that Jason was 29 years old when he was hired for Hannah Montana. Like, couldn't you just find a teenager to play the part? I don't get it. That is older than me right now, playing a 16-year-old. I don't get it. Up next, number 9 is Carly Rae Jepsen and Lady Gaga. I guess I never thought about Carly's age, but when she came out with her hit single Call Me Maybe, she was actually 26 years old. In the video, to me, she looked really young, and I guess I just assumed that she was like around 22 years old. Definitely younger than 26. Clearly, I was wrong because she's actually the same age as Lady Gaga. They are both 34 years old this year. Some people online said that they thought Gaga was older than that, but I think the most shocking part is seeing them in like the same age category. I don't know what it is, but their music careers played out during different times, so maybe it feels like they're in different age groups because of it. Technically speaking though, Carly is actually older. She was born in November 1985 and Lady Gaga was born in March 1986, so only certain parts of the year are they like 34 together. Cruising into number 8 is Michelle Obama and Sandra Bullock. Both ladies often get asked during interviews about their skincare and fitness routines because they look incredible for their age. I remember being really shocked a few years ago when I found out Sandra's age because she looks a lot younger than she really is. They were both born in 1964, making them 56 years old this year. Like what? In 4 years you're telling me they are going to turn 60? That is crazy because honestly, they look like they could be in their 40s. Michelle is older by 6 months. She turned 56 back in January and Sandra followed her and turned 56 in July. When asked what they do to keep themselves looking so young and fresh, they said collagen and they swear by it. There's different ways to intake collagen, whether it's a pill, in smoothies, or in face gels. It helps improve skin elasticity and has tons of aging benefits, so I'm gonna go get me some, basically. Sliding into number 7 is Zendaya and Bella Hadid. Because Zendaya became known from Disney Channel, I think people often forget that she grows out of that at some point. I even have a hard time remembering that she's not a teenager anymore and she's actually 24 years old. That's enough for me to wrap my head around because it just makes me feel very old. But what's even more strange is that she's the same age as Bella Hadid, who I thought was a lot older than she was. Bella Hadid is a famous model and is actually the younger sister to Gigi Hadid. The two of them were born just 1 month apart. Zendaya just turned 24 on September 1st this year, and Bella is following close behind. She turns 24 on October 9th. If you are trying to do the quick math in your head, it means they were both born in 1996. Making their way into number 6 is Gwen Stefani and Jennifer Aniston. When it comes to Jennifer Aniston, one common topic of conversation is the fact that she's 51 years old and looks incredible. Literal goals. Plus, she's one of a few celebrities to fill her body and face with plastic, yet she looks better than most of them. Sorry. To learn that she is 51 is usually surprising in itself, but then to learn that she's the same age as Gwen Stefani is also very surprising. I'm not sure why, but personally, I just thought Gwen was much younger than Jennifer. They've both had very successful careers for similar periods of time, but they were in completely different genres, so we never see them working together. Jennifer has always been in the acting world and Gwen in music, so their two worlds just don't really collide. Jennifer turned 51 back in February, and Gwen's birthday is coming up in October. We've made it halfway. At number 5 is Madonna and Ellen DeGeneres. This one is a little crazy for me because they are both older than my mom, and I had it in my head that they would be younger or like at least closer in age. I don't know. Now I will not do my mother dirty and give up her age, but I will do that for Madonna and Ellen because it is already on Google. They are both 62 years old this year with 7 months in between their birthdays. Ellen was first and celebrated her birthday on January 26th, and Madonna celebrated hers more recently on August 16th. But similar to Jennifer Aniston, a lot of people talk about them and how great they look for their age. Personally, I think it is their style that has a lot to do with it. They both dress very modern in like younger fashion, you know what I mean? Like kind of hipster? I don't know what I'm trying to think of. I feel like Ellen dresses like a hipster. I don't know. They're both very fashionable is what I'm trying to say. In spot number 4 is Gigi Hadid and Post Malone. I never thought that they would be in the same number on one of my lists. And if we're comparing just looks, they definitely don't look like the same age in my opinion. I'm gonna give you guys 1 second to guess in your head how old you think they are. Like when you think of Post Malone separately, what age do you think of? Chris?
28.
Okay. Good guess. Tell me in the comments, guys. I want to hear your guesses. Turns out they are the same age, and as of 2020, they are both 25 years young. Gigi, who is now a mother to be pretty soon, turned 25 years old on April 23rd, and Post was just a few months behind and celebrated on July 4th. To think that at the beginning of this year they were both 24 years old is mind-boggling to me. I thought Post was in his 30s. That was my guess, like early 30s. So that goes to show how bad I am at guessing someone's age. Taking over the 3rd spot is Caitlyn Jenner and Meryl Streep. I'd be lying if I said that both of their ages as individuals didn't surprise me when I first found out. Mainly because my Nana is only a couple years older than both of them, and to think that Meryl Streep could be my grandmother is insane to me. They are both going to be 71 years old this year. Meryl is actually the older one. She turned 71 in June, and Caitlyn is still 70 until October 28th. People are more shocked about Caitlyn's age because she is Kylie Jenner's dad. It's a little strange to think that Kylie's dad is around the same age as my grandparents. But honestly, in this day and age, this isn't that uncommon. Kylie is only 23 years old right now, so her dad being 71 is a huge age gap, which means that she had Kylie when she was 48 years old. I mean, I can't be the only one who's like a little mind blown by this. Sniping our number 2 spot is Beyonce and Britney Spears. Even though they are both in the music industry together and have been for many years, they've never done a collaboration or worked together on a set. It's kind of crazy to think they haven't done a collaboration, seeing as both of their fans call them Queen Bee. Personally, I've only known Beyonce to be called Queen Bee, but Britney recently came out and said her fans call her that as well. Regardless of a collab, one thing they have in common is their age. They will both be 39 years old this year, which is also a little crazy to find out. I don't know why, I just think that Britney Spears doesn't age, apparently. Beyonce is a couple months older. She turned 39 on September 4th, and Britney is following suit on December 2nd. Maybe a collab will happen in the future. I am crossing my fingers. I would love to see that. I think that would be epic. Let's make it happen. Bring Britney back. Well, any Harry Potter fans, I'm about to blow your mind with this one. Coming into number 1 is Rihanna and Rupert Grint. You guys, I had to put this one in number 1 because it is so weird to me. I can't wrap my head around this. You're telling me that Rihanna is the same age as Ron Weasley from the Harry Potter movies. There's no way. There is, but whoa. It feels like they were from completely different decades. Like, does it not, or is this just me? Turns out they are the same age, both turning 32 years old this year. Rihanna celebrated her birthday on February 20th, and Rupert celebrated 6 months later on August 24th. I honestly didn't know how old either of them were before I had to research for this list, so this is all pretty shocking. But to find out they're only 4 years older than me is also a lot to take in. This whole number is just a lot to digest for me. Like, I honestly didn't think Ron Weasley was 4 years older than me. That's it? I thought he'd be way older. Mind blowing, Chris. You would feel my emotion if you watched Harry Potter. This is crazy.
At number 10, we have Mia Goth. Mia Goth has been very secretive when it comes to her birthday and her exact age. However, the actor is 29 years old and she still looks like she's 14 years old and was just signed to Storm Model Management after being discovered by fashion photographer Gemma Booth in London. When it comes to her beauty routine, the star likes to keep things simple by sticking to the basics and keeping a more natural approach. She also tends to eat very healthy, and she's a strong believer that with skin and beauty, it always starts within. And whether it's rainy or sunny, the star always opts to use sunscreen. Whatever the star seems to be doing, however, has her aging fine, and I definitely want what she's having. At number 9, we have Cher. Cher is 76 years old, however, she still manages to look ageless. Anyone who looks at her wonders if the singer really found the fountain of youth, as she doesn't look a day over 40. In May of 2018, Cher revealed her simple secret to looking eternally young, and it had nothing to do with plastic surgery. Her strict rules include not drinking, smoking, or using substances, and her healthy style of working out and drinking water with the occasional sneak in of chocolate makes us wonder if she's actually telling the truth. While the star has admitted to having a facelift, nose job, and dental surgery in 1985, she still continues to deny any recent procedures. And while abstaining from cocktails might seem impossible for some, Cher is definitely onto something because she looks good at 76, and you can't deny that. Hey Peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. At number 8, we have Gwen Stefani. Went wild back in October when they learned that she just turned 53 years old, with one fan taking to Twitter to say Gwen Stefani is either ageless or freeze-dried. It has us all wondering how she's aged so fine and what can we do to look like Gwen Stefani. It's no lie that the singer looks exactly the same as she did in her hollaback girl phase. Luckily for fans, Gwen shared her secret to staying so young back in 2016 when she was riding with James Corden in his carpool karaoke. Gwen would admit that she's always kept her skincare pretty simple in her morning routine, which usually includes a prayer, brushing her teeth, and moisturizing, and she also occasionally will do a little facial massage just so she can decrease any puffiness. At night, the star also will take off her makeup and put moisturizer on. She also lives by one other golden rule, which is always to keep her skin hydrated with face oil. At number 7, we have Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston still looks like she's 25 and ready to film another episode of Friends. With the star being 53, it makes us wonder if she's ever going to age. Jennifer is known for her flawless skin and timeless beauty. Now, the A-lister does credit her parents, genes, and food recommendations for staying so young. However, she's also stated to stay young, you have to maintain what you have. With the star's obsession with skin health, she recommends using products that contain probiotics as they're known to benefit your skin. She also is known to get a lot of facials from a variety of different facialists and highly recommends exercise and cutting out sugar and bad food from your diet completely. She's also said you need to moisturize and swears by Aveeno's daily moisturizer as she and her mom have been using it for years. Jennifer has also stated that our bodies are like plants and it will thrive if you treat it well, so treat your bodies well. At number 6, we have Shakira. Shakira, at the age of 45, easily looks 15 to 20 years younger, and her appearance hasn't really changed since she was 20. Besides her ability to keep her makeup natural and her glamorous, elegant outfits, we are still wondering what she does to stay so young. Well, it's simple. All you have to do is wear sunscreen and smile. The star has also noted that a good smile shows off confidence, and it's really the best makeup. She's also not kidding about the sunscreen. The star uses the highest SPF sunscreen she can find to avoid damaging her skin, and she also applies a vitamin C serum for applying her makeup to nourish her skin, along with lots and lots of moisturizer. It seems like the #1 tip today to take away from this is keep your skin moisturized and nourished and you'll stay young forever. At number 5 we have Reese Witherspoon. So Reese Witherspoon swears by a 13-minute skincare routine morning and night, and it's clearly worked because at the age of 46, the star still not only looks ageless but flawless. Reese has said that she uses a gentle cleanser, serums, eye creams, and moisturizers. She's also mentioned that a lot of her serums contain an anti-aging ingredients like vitamin C and hyaluronic acid. As the star has gotten older, she's noticed that her skin's gotten drier and that she has more dark spots, so she pays very close attention to hydration and looks for ingredients to treat dark spots like vitamin C. On top of her skincare routine, the star likes to exercise, eat healthy, and drink plenty of water. She said that staying hydrating and exercise regularly and taking all her makeup off at the end of the day helps her combat aging skin, and she encourages everyone to follow her routine. And number 4 today we have Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera is 41 years old and still somehow manages to leave her fans convinced that she's actually 20 years old. Luckily for Christina, she's shared all her beauty secrets, so if you're blonde and you're a bombshell, you should definitely follow them because she definitely knows what's good. Christina's advice for fellow blondes out there is that it's important to not over dry or overwash your hair. You should always be using Johnson's baby shampoo and a hair mask at least once a week. Keep your hair healthy. And when it comes to the star's skin, she likes to keep it simple as well with Cetaphil gentle skin cleanser, and before she uses it, she likes to remove her makeup with MAC wipes. Despite plastic surgery rumors, it seems like this star has her skin and hair routine sorted, and whatever she's doing is working, so maybe take some notes because I know at one point you all wanted to look like Christina Aguilera. And number 3 we have Dolly Parton. If you Google how old is Dolly Parton, it's going to suggest that the singer is 76 years old. Unfortunately, despite Google's best intentions, there's no way that's true. Just look at her. The star doesn't look a day over 45. And while some of her age defiance can be attributed to self-admitted surgical enhancements, some markers of youth are results of more natural care. In an interview with Refinery29, Dolly would go on to list a handful of brands she uses, and not all of them were expensive, including Olay, which Dolly said she loves. It's kind of a big deal that Dolly would opt to choose Olay over any other big name brand because as the moisturizer only costs as little as $22. That should be an indicator that you don't need to tap into your savings just to invest in youthful skin. And while the star may have shelves and drawers full of every makeup product going, she still opts to go to her old faithfuls. At number 2 we have Jennifer Lopez. From the secrets behind her dewy skin to her tight abs, Jennifer Lopez has shown us that for someone who used to have little, she now has a lot to teach us about aging and style. At the age of 53, Jennifer has taught us 5 lessons about defying beauty. At the launch of her JLo Beauty skincare line, she revealed her family secret of using olive oil as it's packed with beneficial fatty acids, antioxidants, and vitamin A, D, E, and K. She would also go on to note that your skincare is only as good as your lifestyle, and there's no point of slapping on endless active creams or olive oil if you're not going to look after your health. JLo has also said at some point, aging is going to happen, but until then, you just gotta decide how strong you're going to be. And to help fight off any signs of age, JLo lives by the 5 S's, which are sleep. You need at least 8 hours minimum a night. Supplements, apply sunscreen every day, serum, and sano. And if you don't know what sano means, it's a Spanish phrase which means to live a healthy, sane life. To do what JLo does means you need to avoid drinking and smoking, and you need to start eating healthy, exercising, and drinking lots of water. And at number 1 today, we have Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock constantly jokes about her secret to looking ageless at the age of 58, and it's because she sleeps in a sealed container. The actress has equipped her life to avoid outside carcinogens and any substance that might cause harm. However, when it comes to her skincare, she's actually a minimalist. Sandra prefers to keep things minimum with her beauty routine. She uses a face cloth and cream
And in addition to using minimum products, she doesn't devote too much of her time to her routine, as her routine only takes around 8 minutes. She's also admitted that the reason she has no fine lines around her eyes is due to a beauty pageant secret. Apparently, by using hemorrhoid ointment on your face, you can hide those fine lines around your eyes. Who would have thought, but I'm never going to try that. She's also not afraid to try trendy facials like EGF on top of her facials and creams. The star also likes to exfoliate once a week, and she's dedicated to her fitness routine.